Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. But while I have you, can I share something really exciting? Today, I promise I'm not going to talk about Cook Tech. Although I realize that by talking about it right now means that I'm talking about, that's beside the point. We're going to move on to Anker today. A lot of people know Anker, they know the brand, they know all the different products. But today, specifically, we're going to talk about the Anker Prime 250. And this could be the new record setter. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, and welcome to another video where we have to remember that it's not a problem, it's a passion. And I need you to remember that because I don't just have one Anker Prime 250, I have two Anker Prime 250s. No, remember, it's a passion. This is not a problem. I'm fine. I love batteries. So today we're talking about the Anker Prime 250 portable battery pack. This is solid. The Flight Association for being able to carry it on airplanes says that you cannot carry a battery on a plane that is 100 watt-hours or more. This one, I think it's just about as close as you can get. It's got 99.54 watt-hours, but you can still get on the plane with it. It's got two USB-Cs, one USB-A. Both of these USB-Cs are power delivery ports, and both can output up to 140 watts each. However, the battery pack itself across all three has a maximum of 250 watts. It is fast rechargeable the two USBs, you can charge two chargers into it and charge it just that much faster. It also has the ability that it's got pogo pins on the bottom. There is a separate plate that you can buy. I don't have I say plate, it's a dock. I don't have the separate dock, but there's a magnetic dock that you can set it on and it will charge from the dock. So you're not even taking out these ports. So you could put it on the dock. You could have three things plugged in. It could be charging while you're charging three other things. It's amazing. So it has that fast recharge capability. It only weighs 1.47 pounds. We're just gonna say 1.5 pounds just to make it easier. It's heavy for what it is, but it's really not that bad. There has been some lighter ones, but not with this capacity. Um, some things that I really like about the features, I love that it has a color screen, and there's a button on the side that you can click and go through the different screens, and you see all the various different information. It has Bluetooth. So it's smart app controlled with Bluetooth. Anker also says that they have their Anker Shield Safety System 2.0. Also, a perfect time for me to mention, Anker did not send these to me. These were bought on my own money. These are my own battery packs that I'm running through these tests so you guys can see if this is something that's going to be good for you. They guarantee Anker says on their website, they guarantee a wide range of devices that are compatible. They mention iPhones, MacBooks, even professional equipment. I have to say, I'm going to go ahead and run it through these tests again, like have you seen in my previous videos, but I've never had these things error out beyond when I first got one out of the box and it required a firmware update. So I think these are going to be really good. So let's get into the tests, and so you can kind of see how they're going to perform and see those results after that. So it turns out that there was a problem.
And just like I said before, I haven't come across any problems, so it would make sense that as I'm doing this for you guys that it would come across some problems, but this is good because then we can see what we have going on here. So the test that I do for a discharge is at 20 volts, continuous, and then I do various ones at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 amp, and then the wild card that I throw in is using a USB-C to XT60 adapter, and that will, I use that to charge other power stations, which sits at about 20.1, 20.2 volts at 5 amps. So the interesting thing here that I found is that both the 4 and the 5 amp test failed. I could not get them to do it. They kept erroring out with a low voltage. I have reached out to Anker. I haven't got any response back on their request onto why that might be the case, why I've tested other battery packs that can, but theirs can't. Possibly maybe the Anker Safety 2.0, it doesn't like the particular way that it's getting pulled. Maybe it considers that a safety risk. I don't know. 1, 2, and 3 amps passed, however, but for the 4 amp, I'm gonna have to give half credit because the specs say that it can do it, but it can't. And I've tried multiple times. I've tried different areas and methods and things, and I can't get it to pull 20 volts, 4 amps, even though it says on the bottom that it should be able to pull. It should be able to handle that just fine. So, and then what I'll do is I'm just gonna do the XT60 test twice. So then that way I can count that as both the 5 amp and the XT60 for that. So half credit for the 4 amp because it's supposed to, but it didn't. Just wanted to throw that in there. All right, it's time for the final grade. Can I get a drum roll? And here we go.
Hey, so it got an A- at 89%, and that is including even with taking the hit on not being able to complete the 4 amp test, which is still pretty impressive. So because of that hit, we didn't get as much capacity, but we did have the capacity and discharge at 80.6%. At capacity charging on an average of 100.5%. So it means it took more energy to charge it than it did, or than we could get out of it, which makes sense, bringing our total efficiency to 70.7%, which is, as you can see, below the CookTech, and that's probably because of the penalty. I mean, if Anker wants to reach out and tell me something of why it's doing that, maybe we can adjust the grade accordingly, but that's just how it is currently. I was able to get 100% of its rated input every time. I feel like it's about the same weight as the CookTech, so portability is going to be about the same. It had a few extra features that I personally enjoyed, and so I really like that. Gave it a 95. Never had any thermal throttling on this one. It handled its thermals very well, so that was great. And of course, it has a bunch of the safety ratings in there as well. So for a solid A-, which is awesome.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this video to be helpful. If you did, or because you like me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and like this video, hit that notification icon, and remember, as always, it's not a problem, it's a passion.